Good morning. I'm going to do a watercolor painting tutorial. Hopefully I won't take a cajillion years, but let's go. Okay, here we go. So a few things. I'm going to do some paper towel cloud when I do the wet on wet technique. I've got a couple different brushes here, a thin one because I like to use a really thin one for the stems. This one I think is a 1. I don't know, it doesn't have a number. This one is a 4, so maybe that's not a 1. I think this one is a 1. This is a 1, so it might be a 2 or 3. This one's a 4. It really doesn't matter, whatever you have to work with. And then I like to do my wet on wet with a fluffy brush. Okay, I've got 2 things of water. I know you can't see them really well. They're off screen, but always have 2 things of water. One's to clean, one's to have some fresh water. Clean your brush, have one for fresh water. Okay, I've just got basic watercolors. Okay, these are Prang, basic. Okay, nothing fancy schmancy, nothing special. I do have a little tin of Arteza paints that I've been using, and I do like it. It was inexpensive. I don't know, I think $12, $14, I'm not sure, something like that. It's on Amazon. But I'm not going to use those today. I'm going to demonstrate using stuff that you might be able to get for a very inexpensive price. And if you're, whoa, I almost lost everything. And if you're lucky enough to be able to buy some other paints to try, awesome, go for it. Okay, here we go. So first of all, I'm going to do the wet on wet because when you're doing flowers, you have to paint your flowers on a dry surface. So if I want to have a wet on wet background, I got to do that first so then I can come back and paint on it. So both of my waters are clean right now. I know you can't see that, but I'm going to add some water to what I've already been mixing in here. I'm going to start with my blue sky. Okay, and I'm just going to get what has dried in there. I'm going to get it nice and wet here. And I want a light blue sky. I know there's a little bit of teal in here that's dried in here. So it's going to have a little bit of that color. Let's get this blue out of the edges. But I'm going to make my paint first and then get my paper wet and add it to it. Add a little more blue. Okay. I'm thinking that might be plenty. Okay. And it looks like a good color. Remember, your watercolors always dry much lighter than they began. Okay, sweep off some of this. I'm gonna clean out my brush in number 1. And number 2, I'm gonna flick some water in here so I can get a nice even coat to do my wet on wet. Okay, and I know you can't really see because of the shine, or you can't see, but the trick is when you do wet on wet, to get your paints to float, you just do a really light water, even layer over the top of this. Then I'm going to take my blue paint and I'm going to do the top half. And I could go this way. It really doesn't matter. Let's get my blue paint on there. And maybe I want it to come, maybe be a little darker up at the top. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Then I'm going to clean out my brush. I'm going to get some green going because I'm going to have the bottom be green. Remember, this is what your lid of your paints are for. Try and not let the water sit in your little palettes of paints because it makes them gooey and gross. Okay, come here. Okay, I want to add a little bit of, I want a little bit darker green in there. What should we do? Add a little bit of brown to it, maybe? I don't know, it's all an experimentation, you guys. Ooh, it definitely looks like dirt now. Let's get some more green. Clean out your brush. Get some new water because you don't want to be mixing your paints everywhere. Now I'm going to add some more green to that. Notice how now I have a darker green color. I'm going to put that down here. And you could always do this right on the dry paper. You did not have to get it wet first. Okay, I'm gonna leave that be. And I'm going to do my paper towel clouds. Clean out my brush. Okay, remember, embossed side, flat, smoother side, which you can still see in the embossing, but you just have to play making your clouds. They're always going to turn out different, and they get even better as they dry. And remember, your paint has to be wet in order for the paper towel to pick it up. If your painting is too dry, you won't get the paper towel cloud effects. And I think mine was getting a little bit dry. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. And if you want to, you're always welcome to sweep up any paint over here on the edge. Okay, I'm gonna make some flowers now. Clean up this brush, dry it off. Okay, set it aside. Now, I make my flowers with this little brush that just came with the paints, okay? If you do a flick test, that's a little bit of a stiffer brush, but this is what I'm gonna use. And I'm not gonna worry about that green dot right there. I'm just gonna let it be. And there's a little water up here. I'm gonna soak up that water. When you do your flowers, make sure your paint is, or your paper's dry. Whether you're painting on this, it has to be dry. It has to be dry, it has to be dry. Okay, and that is the trick. Now, I had a request for some orange flowers. So I'm going to make me up some orange flowers. There was some green splattered in here. I'm gonna do some orange flowers. I'm gonna do some blue flowers. I'm kind of like into blue flowers, you guys. Okay, get my brush nice and wet. And I'm gonna actually put some water in here so that it's all ready to get some of this orange and mix it. I apologize, I don't have this fast forward motion, so you have to sit through all this, but you can always, you know, move your cursor and speed it up yourself. Ooh, this is super orange. That's good. I like bright. I like bright. Something that I've seen on videos is they like to do splatter, and they'll splatter the color that they're using for the flowers on the page before they start doing them. Again, if you're gonna splatter, make sure your splatter gets dry before you use it, okay? You can always splatter afterwards. Okay, so these little flowers, they're kind of, ew, I don't like that orange, but it'll dry. It'll be good. These little flowers are kind of like a tulip shape. Remember, they don't need to be perfect. Okay, and you could move up the edge if you want to shape the edge up here. Okay, I'm not that concerned. Here, I make like a little cup. Fill the cup. Okay, do another one. I'm kind of a person that likes symmetry, but please don't do that to yourself. I'm gonna fill the cup. You do not have to be perfect. It's all part of the art. Okay, this one's gonna kind of be laying on its side. Fill. Okay. Do another one here. And if you're at home and you are taping your paper down to something movable, like a hard plastic sheet or something like that, turn your table, turn your drawing, turn your paint to your paper so it's easier for you. Now, I'm going to do something called dry brush to soak up and give some dimension to those flowers. Okay, so I just cleaned out my brush. I've got a piece of paper towel here. And I'm going to dry my brush, and then I'm going to suck up some paint. Okay. Anyway, I think this gives it a cool effect. You could even, after it dried, you could bring in another color, or while it's wet, you could bring in another color and let it run in there. Okay, so I got this going on. Okay, I'm going to talk about some stems. Okay, I'm going to clean that brush. Okay, set it to the side, and I'm going to use my really skinny brush. It says it's a 1, but it is a stiffer bristle, little skinny one, and I'm going to do some stems. Okay, so I'm going to use some of this green that I was making for the other grass. I'm going to add some more green to it, and I'm going to add a tiny touch of blue. Okay, I'm going to clean my brush out so I'm not mixing, and I'm going to add a little bit of blue to this. And I could have used the green and then done the highlight with the blue, but I'm gonna, for some reason, I just wanna do this. And remember, your paint's always dry quicker. Now, trick is to make these, don't draw straight down from your flowers. Make them kind of wispy, your stems, and try to do it in one motion, okay? You can always go back over them, and it just takes some practice. So don't be hard on yourself. Okay, this is art. Have some fun with it. I find that if you give your wrist some place to lay, so you can make a smooth stroke, and you're good to go. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of leaf. So I'm going to lay it out and then kind of turn it to a point. And I'm going to do on the side. Okay, I'm going to lay the brush and stand it up. I hope you guys can see that. Lay the brush, stand it up. Lay the brush, stand it up. Lay and out to a point. And they're all going to turn out different, and don't be hard on yourself. And it's hard to recreate it exactly like you did before. I'm just letting you know now. So every time you do it, it's going to be totally different. Sometimes it's going to be better than others. Okay, you can do a little bit of a leaf like this too. Bring down that extra paint. And as it dries, you can give it more layers of color. Okay, like this. Bring that down. Let's do one right here. And I'm going to add a little bit more color here. Now, you can add a little bit of color at the end of this into your flowers. Can you guys hear the wind outside? I don't really hear the birds. I'm not sure what they're doing. Okay, I'm liking these. Okay, Now, something that I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to this. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow to my green just so I can get a little bit of a different color of green. And add it in there too to give it some dimension. Yeah, see, once you add that other color, it looks really cool. So remember, it's not finished, so don't freak out until it's done. Be kind to yourself. Remember, it's art. And I think it's cool. It's gonna be cool. Your stuff's gonna be cool. I gotta tell you how excited I am when I see your guys' work and all the things that you're trying. Remember, the key here is try. I'm hoping I'm giving you guys stuff that you've never tried before. I know some of you are really awesome artists and maybe you don't feel challenged, but I do love seeing your work. Okay, something that I watched in a video, and they just kind of go like this to give your leaves or your flowers something to stand on. Just a little scribbly. Little background. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just gives your painting some dimension. Okay. Again, I could take some of this more of a blue. Let's add a little bit more of a blue into that. Can you guys see me mixing over here? I know the colors aren't perfect, but I like to give it some blue too. Okay. And sometimes you're like, oh, it was better. I should have quit before. It's okay. It's all part of the art. We're going to say it's all part of the art. There we go. Okay. I'm going to leave that alone. I could do some splatters in here. So because we've got some green and we've got some orange, I'm going to go ahead and I tap against my hand, right? I did find in the video though that I did before that I got really fine spray. I think it's almost so fine that you can't see it. Like some bigger. You don't want it to get on your other artwork. Be sure to put your hand up. Okay. And since I know I'm going to do flowers over here, I'm going to go ahead and splatter over here before I do my flowers because it's almost dry. Okay, I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to grab, I'm going to do a little bit of orange splatter over here. I'm going to get that brush that I was using before, get it wet because my orange paint is pretty dry right now. And remember, the splatter, usually you take the colors that you are working with your flowers to add some dimension. Oh, I like that. I do like that. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that alone before I mess something up, and I'll clean out my brush. Okay, add some water. Let's try some of these orange. I want to do like a little mixture of dot flowers. I'm going to try orange dot flowers. Those of you who had my class know what that is, but for those of you who haven't had me, you don't know. I'm gonna clean out that brush, get some fresh water, add some water in here because I need some more orange. Okay, and that dark orange that it's making will be good over the background. Okay, let's talk about dot flowers. Okay, you want juicy paint. Notice I got some juicy paint here, and I'm going to make 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now you're gonna think this is wasting paint, but whatever. We got to clean out the brush, rinse out the brush, and give it a one side dry. Okay, and then I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna like this. Ooh, that's very faint. I may need to add more. And I just kind of do a little shaking technique. These are going to be really faded. This one's going to be faded. I'm going to try more heavy color for the other petals. Okay, come out. I'm going to grab some more of that orange and put it right here. Get nice juicy dots. Let's see if I just do it from here. Oh, see, that's too much. Too much. I need to rinse my brush. Rinse my brush. Dry it off. If you have problems with these flowers, remember, it's all about how wet your paint is. It was going to be too much. It would have been too much. Okay. Do this one again. If you have the ability to turn your table, your workspace, do so for you so you can reach things. Okay, and I'm going to bring the liquid to the centers here. And I'm going to mix up what I call my purple brown. If you watched from the other videos, or if you didn't, I have purple in here, and I like to add a little touch of brown to it. Okay, so clean out my brush again. Oh, I lost a brush. Okay, I'm going to get a little bit of this brown, and I'm going to mix it in with my purple. That mixed up. Okay. And watch this. We're going to let it run. We're going to dab in here, and we're going to let it run. Okay. Now, maybe I want to make a purple flower. Let's get some more water. Clean out your brush. Always remember, clean out your brush, get some fresh water. I'm just going to dip the water in here. Okay. Because I want juicy. You need juicy paint for these flowers. Okay. Here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, again, wash out the brush, rinse the brush. You have to have some patience. Dry off one side. Here we go. Okay. Ooh, got some water dripping off my brush. Get some more purple. Do a couple more dots. There's water right here that dripped off my brush. I'm going to soak that up. Why is this? Oops, see, it ran into, do you see? It ran into where it was wet. If you watch the first video with the wet on wet technique, that's what it does. If you want your colors to run like that, remember that is the wet on wet. So if your surface is wet, it'll run. The paint will run. Okay, I'm gonna come over to this one. Hopefully you can see. Okay, bring the liquid to the centers, and I'm gonna add a little blue to the center of that. Okay, clean my brush. Some water. I'm all out of blue here, so I'm gonna mix up some blue really quick, hopefully before that dries, and let's see what happens when we run some blue. Play with which colors you want to run. Okay, I wasn't happy with that orange flower. The paint wasn't pigmented enough. So I'm gonna try another orange flower here. Get some paint in there with that water. We want it to be dark. And maybe I'll add a little red to it. Okay, I rinse out my brush, get some clean water, get this red, get a little red in there. Don't, or feel free to play with color. Okay, here we go. Sorry this video is gonna be so long because it just is. Remember, fast forward. Always welcome to fast forward. Okay, there's 3 juicy drops. Clean out my brush, rinse out the brush, dry one side. My favorite color to do these is on white paper with no background, is to do blue and purple. Kind of mixing those. It's always weird when you're from a odd direction, you can't turn your space. A couple more dots. Again, I'm cleaning my brush, rinsing my brush, drying one side. If you struggle with these flowers, remember, it just takes a little bit of practice. Now, notice that was very dry. So now I have a faded petal. Okay, I'm gonna grab some of that purple. Feel free to put it right in the center too. I'll add some to this one. I love the purple with the blue, that purple brown color. And I feel like I need one more flower, but I'm just gonna call it good for now. And I'm gonna do the stems. Okay, grab my stem brush, which is my thin, skinny brush. Okay, and I'm gonna get some clean water, drop some clean water in here, get me some of the green. And I liked it mixed with the yellow. Rinse out that brush, clean water, yellow. Thinking because we have the green in the background, that's very light for the grass. This color will be good. We can always add another green over the top, remember. Okay, again, don't draw lines straight down. Give them some movement. Decide, where are they coming from? Where is this coming from? I'm gonna come here. Notice my line is not straight. It's pretty groovy and wavy, and that's okay. You do not have to have straight lines. And my paper's kind of bubbly, and I mixed up in there. That's okay. It's okay. It's all gonna be okay. And let's do some of those cool leaves where you lay it. Come up to a point. Okay, lay it, come up. And I'm kind of turning it when I come up. Lay it, and turn and come up. Okay, lay it, and turn and come up. I'm going to do this one. Remember, it's okay to cross over the tops of the others. I think it needs to come out like this. And these. Okay. I don't know if they're perfect, but do we care? No. And I'm going to add some more blue to my stem water, my stem color. Get some green in there, clean that brush out, get some blue, and add it to it. All right, it'll give me more of that blue-green cast that I'm looking for. Yeah, I like the dimension that you get when you add another color of green. And again, I'm just going to do this. There was water on my paper. Okay, and I want some blue, little touches of blue. I think it helps bring out the sky color. Okay, yeah, we could call it messy, but do we care? No, we don't care. Let's do some purple flowers. Okay. Clean out the brushes. Always clean out your brushes. I'm going to dry this brush off, set it over here to the side. Do some fun blue flowers over here. Okay, let's get some blue going on here. I hope you're remembering that you do not have to watch this whole entire video. You could fast forward, you could pause, you can come back. Okay, juicy paint with pigment. Okay, I need to move my waters. Hopefully I don't knock them off and spill them all over myself. Okay, and I'm gonna dry. There's some water over here dripped. Dry that off. Okay, here we go. 3 juicy drops. Okay, again, I'm gonna clean, gonna rinse, and I dry one side. Okay. I love blue flowers on white. They're my favorite. Bring the liquid to the center. I'm just doing a little squiggle jiggle. Squiggle. No, you can't see this one because my hand's in the way. I apologize for that. Beautiful. Okay, a couple more juicy drops. And if they blend into the other color, it's okay. It's part of the art. Perfectly okay, you guys. I love it when they run. You never know what you're gonna get, like Forrest said. It's like a box of chocolates. Okay, bring this one out. Much more wet and less pigment. That's okay, it'll give me like these faded petals. Okay, hopefully it's still wet in the middle so I can bring in some of that purple that I had going on over here. Let's see what we can get to run. Oh, I'm just loving the purple or the blue flowers. For those of you who hung out and waited, I hope you enjoy the blue flowers too. Let's get some more blue, add more blue in here. Love the blue and purple. 3 dots. Rinse. Clean. Dry one side. Then I use the wet side to bring these out. Do the little squiggle dance. Squiggle, 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 squiggle dance. Notice how much easier it is for me to do that first petal. It's the angle I'm at. Remember, move your work so that you can reach, because your work will turn out better if you can reach what makes you comfortable. And these ends I like all jagged. I think it makes the prettiest flowers. So, and this one's just going to be a 4-petal one. Okay, again, rinse, clean, dry one side, and then I turn over the brush. Do this one. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Okay, and hopefully there's enough fluid right here that I can get that purple to run. Yay! Sometimes they dry out and then you don't have that option. Ooh, I just love it. Isn't it gorgeous? I think they're gorgeous. I hope the colors look gorgeous. Let's do one more. Fully in to that blue. Add a little more blue to my paint. Okay, get some juicy drops. Put it right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, clean, rinse. Again, dry on one side, and then I'm going to flip over and use the wet side of the brush. If you don't have paper towels, napkins, you can always like have a hand towel or a wash rag or an old t-shirt to use. So remember, any of the videos that say, oh, you need this pencil or blah, blah, guess what? You make do with what you have at home. Be creative. And if you're wondering how to do it, shoot, send me an email. I will help you come up with ideas of how you can do whatever you want with the materials you have at home. I also want to say, I hope you're gathering plastics and recycled stuff to do some art. I have a garbage sack full, like a brown paper bag full of different little recycling things I've been saving for the past couple weeks. So I hope you're doing that. I think I need to send out an email and remind kids to do that. I love when it runs. Part of the art, ladies and gentlemen, part of the art. Clean, rinse, dry on one side, flip it over. I'm going to get all this extra water off my brush. Here we go. And I'm just blending right into those other petals. Remember, nothing is wrong. It's part of the art. Do your best. Okay, make sure that's all liquidy up there. Get this purple I got here. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Not a lot of running because this one was pretty dry, evidently. Okay, that's okay. I'm going to put a dot in the middle here, give a little bit of darkness. I love them. Okay, and then I'm going to show you, I'm going to do like that little tulipy flower in blue. Washed, rinse, dry. Grab some of this blue paint. And I'm going to do one right here. Okay, and I'm going to get one right here. Let me think. Right here. A little sideways one. And yeah, oh, I want to put something up here. Let's do it. Okay, and then I'm going to do that dry brush technique. Okay, gonna dry it off here. You can see. Yeah, suck up. Let's say it's this side. Thirsty brush. We call this the thirsty brush. Gives it some dimension. Thirsty brush. Let's go. Where's my light coming from? Thirsty brush. Thirsty brush. So I'm going to do a couple. I like how it gives it dimension. Perfect. Perfect. Leave it alone. And then we're going to do our stems. Okay. I need to wash out my brush. Always wash out your brushes. Dry it off. Grab my stem brush. Okay. And get some clean water. Add more clean water to my green. Okay. Get some more green here. Mix it up in here. Green. Give me green. This is a really nice green because that other blue that was in there. So here we go. Okay, remember, never draw straight down. Okay, so I'm going to start with this one up here and go. Here we go. This one's coming here. And they're coming out here. Okay, this one coming through here. Which way should it go? Can it go around like that? Nah, it already looks like it's coming this direction. Be kind to yourself. They are not perfect, and that's why we love them. And the more you do them, the more style you'll get. And they'll become your own. Okay, does everyone have a stem? Oh, this one right here, right? This one needs a stem too. I think it's going to come here. Okay, I'm going to make some of those leaves. My brush. I think I need some more green. Running out of green. It's getting dry, you guys. I love how saturated this color is because it needs more water. Remember, You can always pause or fast forward. You're not gonna break my heart. I won't even know. I would love to see kids try the flowers. Even if they turn out like crap, you should send them to me. We'll see where you start. Okay, I think we need a little bit of yellow green. Okay, wash the brush, rinse the brush, add some of this yellow into this. Okay, I need some more water. I'm gonna wash the brush, rinse the brush, dip some water. Okay, wash out the brush, rinse the brush, get this yellow. Kind of gives a lovely glow to the edge of my stems. I'm getting like mesmerized, you guys. Okay, and I'm going to do some swishies at the bottom. I'm just going to leave them sparingly. I think I'm going to leave that one like it is. I think it's lovely. Don't forget to sign your work. Don't forget to let things dry before you pull the tape off. Remember, especially if you have not watched my videos before, I'm going to clean this brush, rinse this brush, dry this brush off. Okay, I'm going to move these, and I'm going to talk to you about pulling off your You're pulling off the tape. Okay, so again, you should wait till it's dry. This one's dry, so when you're pulling off tape, do not rip it off like a bandage. Pull it from the side on its level. If it starts ripping, start from the other end. Okay, and take it off slowly and nice smooth. Remember, do not rip it off like a bandage. Just don't do it. Okay, come back here. Have some patience, pull to the side, get it started. Again, if it starts to pick up the paper, go to the other end. We learned a lot last term. Remember, this is all new to me, you guys. Never been a watercolor painter. I knew about salt and alcohol techniques and pastels because I learned that from the old art teacher that used to work at Cal Young, but she never did flowers, she never taped the paper, she never did any of that stuff. So I didn't know anything about that. I've just been watching a lot of videos and doing a lot of stuff with kids and getting an opportunity to paint. It's all about practice, you guys. You're never going to be perfect. Everyone's going to be, there's always going to be people better than you and worse than you. And the deal is that some people have just been playing way more. Now this is wet, so I'm not going to lay it or put it up because this would run. But my tape's off. I've got this lovely piece of art. I have a special pen that I like to write my name with. And I like to do my little Miss Leslie. And Miss Leslie, and it's 5:20. Okay. And you should always sign your work and date it and come up with, oh no, I'm writing Moz instead of Miss Leslie. Moz, 5:20. Well, we know who it belongs to. There you go, Miss Leslie. Come up with some cool signature for yourself. I've been doing the curly haired girl for years. Okay, you guys, I'm gonna let you go. It's probably a 30-minute video. Okay, bye, I love you.